Greetings, YouTubers. It's me, Wayman29, and I decided to come on and reply to Kissy, Kiciesie. I apologize. I'm really bad with names. I totally screwed up the name of the user Ash the Raven. I was trying to pronounce it Ash the Raven, and totally screwed it up. So I apologize if I screwed up your username. However, I wanted to say thanks for doing the Bible challenge. I know it was very unusual for you to be doing a video on a Bible challenge, and so I wanted to do an unusual video where I come out of my medium and into yours, dealing with sexuality. And I want to take it from the angle of fantasy. And it was really awesome. I mentioned it in a couple other videos that I went to Mansfield University to see Roy Hazelwood, one of the pioneers of profiling, and he was the first one of the first in the FBI Behavioral Science Unit to study sexuality and paraphilias, which was awesome to hear him speak. The guy is the nicest guy, and knowing that he deals with some of the worst in society, have sat down and interviewed some of these people, well, actually most of them, and got into their heads, and then was able to solve cases using the information he got. And he is very good at profiling sexual crimes. And I'm here to promote his book. You got to get it. It's The Evil That Men Do by Roy Hazelwood. He also has a book out. It was older, and there was a dispute between the editors who co-authored the book, Autoerotic Asphyxiation, sometime back. So he's trying to get that published. But The Evil That Men Do, and he has another one, I think it's called Dark Dreams. I think I got it here in my pile. Yeah, Dark Dreams, Roy Hazelwood. Interesting paperbacks, and you will find out stuff about human fantasy that more than you want to know. But also, way back, there was a novel written by John Fowlers. It was called The Collector. And this book was, even before profiling and the sexual fantasy aspect of it was brought into play. This book is now read in criminal justice classes. It's how fantasy overcomes to where the person thinks it's actually real. It's about a girl who gets kidnapped, and the predator thinks that she really loves him, and then you get the diary of the girl who is kept in the cellar at the end. And it's a very moving story. It was written in 1963, so that's before all this other stuff started coming out. There's another good book, if you can get a hold of it, Crime Classification Manual. It outlines some of the 10-year project by FBI's National Center for the Analysis of Violent Crime. Sexual Homicide, Patterns and Motives, written by Robert Ressler. He also came to Mansfield, and he has a book out, Whoever Fights Monsters. My 20 years tracking serial killers for the FBI. Deals with sexuality on that. And there's another good guy out, Robert Keppel. He did the Green River Killer, and he went and interviewed Ted Bundy to find out what the Green River Killer was doing when he went back to visit all the dead bodies. So it's pretty interesting. And Bundy told him, if you find the bodies, keep an eye on him. He'll be back. Also, John Douglas. He was the head of the, I think he's even the current, no. It's 25 career investigative, blah, blah, blah. He used the model for Jack Crawford and Silence of the Lambs. Interviewed all these people, just like Hazelwood. Hazelwood did some movie and some deals with the group, the series. I don't know if people remember it, Millennium. And if you watch those series, not the weird ones in season 3, season 1 and 2, halfway through 2, before they changed their script writer, was awesome. They were calling up the Academy group, which were a bunch of ex-FBI, CIA, and Secret Service agents. They set up a private group to profile and solve crimes for corporations and help out police agencies. And so the Millennium Group was supposedly this group. And Roy Hazelwood got to work with some of the actors, and I got to ask him that, how he enjoyed that when I seen him. And so season 1 and 2, Millennium. Season 3 was totally in the toilet. Some of the episodes are shown in criminal justice classes, especially the one on the horses, how fantasy tends to overcome, sexual fantasy tends to overcome people at times. He also speaks a lot about fetishes and paraphilias and different things. So those are just a few books that I would recommend, although I'm not really good on the topic. I'm kind of interested in that sort of thing, and I've read quite a bit about it. And to me, paraphilias are a sexual orientation, and with all the counseling in the world, it doesn't change. And a lot of times, people with these types of paraphilias end up being repeat offenders, because back in the day, we thought that they maybe were cured, whether it's by religion or counseling or whatever, and they happen to not be. And a lot of times, there are some paraphilias that are accepted into the mainstream and are taken off the paraphilic list. And so that'd be interesting to look into. So it was really awesome. I got to see this guy and got my picture taken with him, just like I knew him. But he's a really nice guy. And if I ever get a chance to go back and see him, I will, because he has a lot of good information about how people interact with one another and how people act on their fantasies. Some know when to stop, some don't, and what happens when they don't. And he has lots of articles. Maybe I could send some to you in PDF format on the topic. He deals with rape and all kinds of fetishes, which are most interesting indeed. And in closing, probably some of the movies that would deal with some of this stuff are the first two, Silence of the Lambs and the show Millennium, which is really interesting. And pretty much, let's see if I got through all this stuff here. So Mindhunters by I Have Lived in the Monster by Robert Ressler. He's pretty awesome. Let's see if there's anyone. Oh, The Anatomy of Motive by John Douglas. That's a pretty good one. And let's see, Journey into Darkness. John Douglas. Yeah, John Douglas. He wrote a lot of books, but mainly Hazelwood. Roy Hazelwood is the one that did it on sexuality and sexual fantasies. and he did a lot to further the study of sexual fantasy from a criminal justice point of view. So maybe you found that enjoyable, and I'm a little advertising here for my favorite authors, some of my favorite authors in the criminal justice area. So take care. I enjoy your videos, and I find them very informational. And take care of yourself and each other.